Are there other examples there of things that we might need to get out of the way of, or make some changes of from a public sector perspective to tangibly improve these areas of education, housing, reskilling, and more?
Yeah, I think there's some great opportunities. I think when you look at education, we're seeing some changes now that we haven't seen before. And I'll use the example. I use it all the time, and Cindy knows where I'm kind of going with this, is HERA. Higher Education Regional Alliance here in southeastern Wisconsin was created about 2.5 years ago, right after the Foxconn announcement was made, because the colleges said, you know what, we've got to figure out how we're going to prepare our workforce quicker. How are we going to get through with the degrees that we need? How are we going to be able to engage people more effectively? Well, they realized the best way to do it is they're going to compete against each other and collaborate at the exact same time. And that's when you start seeing a change in how we look at things. You look at WCTC, starting in June of next year, is going to an 8-week semester program. And I don't know if it's going to be quarters now or what they're going to call it. But instead of 16 weeks, they're breaking it down to 8 because that's the chunk of time people can utilize while they're still working. And they can stack their way to their degrees and work on their certificates. Those are the ideas. When we have government saying it takes you 8 to 10 months before we can figure out how a permit is properly set, then businesses have to suffer because we have to wait till they can get going. If we can figure out how to streamline the process so there's less touches in it as it moves forward, that's going to be our big key. And I think that's the challenge that we have. In fact, I was sitting here. I have ADD. I apologize. Tom Moe was the county administrator in Ozaukee County. And if anybody in the room knows Tom Moe, Tom had this heat map that showed what overlays of government we had in Wisconsin. And the darker the blue, the more levels of governance we had. Unfortunately, most of the state is this nice, deep, dark blue. And you start looking at what do we have to do to break through that to get things done more efficiently. 37 municipalities in Waukesha County, our goal is that when a permit comes in, the county accepts the municipality's information and allows it to kind of move forward so that we're not reinventing the wheel, as it was said earlier. Those are the things that we can look at doing, and I think we've got to continue to look at that from the state level as well, even the federal government, on where has the overreach occurred and how can we peel it back down to the closest level of governance which makes it most efficient.